I've seen that today is Men's Health Day, and we've seen so often on the social media and on the blogs that men are struggling with mental issues and mental illnesses, not being who they're supposed to be, not on the purpose, and struggling to make it in society, not meeting the standards of their partners, and seemingly not being satisfied with themselves. I felt it was necessary for me to discuss men and low status or perceived low status. And so basically what I want to say is firstly it's a mental thing. It's based on how the person is thinking. Because I've seen men who have been wealthy and of low value, on perceived value or status. And I've seen men who are in abject poverty and they are also perceived as being low value or of low status. So it's not based on wealth or money alone. While for a lot of women, for most women, in fact, that is going to be a very strong deciding factor. And we understand why. It's not a bad thing for women either. And I do not agree fully when women are perceived as gold diggers when they decide to be with a partner based on wealth, but it should not be based on wealth alone. That I think is where the problem comes in. So a man's status is not based on wealth. So I've seen, as I said, I have seen them be wealthy and I've seen them be poor and their value still remains. What is a very clear indicator would be a guy who is mentally perceived in his mind as being a low value. And you would see, if you one of the indicators would be you would see him fully covered in jewelry. You'd see that he would wear a lot of jewelry because he thinks that the more gold he wears on his external, it would also give a clearer indication of his wealth and status and value, especially. Now, one must understand that value is not based on anything external. It always is internal. So the more someone has to wear something externally to validate themselves or to seek validation from the outside world. And you see it not only with people who wear jewelry. If you look at guys who are doing well and are millionaires, just look at what they drive and the houses that they live in. Let's look, for example, at Warren Buffett. And I like to use him because there's nothing that we can really think about that he can't buy. But he drives a Honda Accord and he lives in a $30,000 home that he purchased years ago. Now, he can spend easily $1 billion and it doesn't affect him at all. You don't see him wearing any excessive amount of jewelry. In fact, if you look at the clothing that he's wearing, it would hardly even be something that is really of any extreme name brand quality. Now, when you look at rappers, for example, rappers who have just made it in their first year and made one platinum record, they would be driving Ferraris. They would have 3-4 gold chains with diamonds in them around the neck. They would do the entire grill. And I know people out there are going to look at rappers and say it's an identity thing. But when you look at people like 50 Cent, he wears jewelry and he has pretty cars as well, but he's not as extreme as some of the guys that you see. When you look at Jay-Z, for example, he's right now the epitome of what you should look at when you look at rap and success and music. Look at how Jay-Z dressed himself. Look at T.I., for example, in the recent years, where he has converted from how he used to dress before and the more intellectually sound he has gotten. Look at how he dresses. Look at The Rock. Look at Kevin Hart. You can see a number of people who are successful, really successful. They're extreme, over 100 million. Look at Will Smith. And my point in saying all of that, even Zuckerberg, the clothing that these guys wear, you can basically buy everything there for about 500 to 1,000 max. When you look at someone who is now making it in society and needs to validate themselves, you would see that the clothing that they would wear would be 5,000, 15,000, 20,000, and they need that validation externally. I remember looking at a video some time ago and I was looking at some black crabs. They were in a container and what was amazing for me was Normally, in a number of other creatures, you'd see they will step on each other until they are able to get out, and a few get out. These crabs made sure that none got out. So if there was a crab at all that was stepping on others, and just about as he was just about over, another crab will run and do his best to pull that crab back down. You see? To make sure that he doesn't leave that container. So if I'm still in the container, none must leave. Now, we have seen this behavior in society. I'm sure we have looked at different newscasts and documentaries, and we have seen in society where a guy was about to leave or girl was about to leave the community to go and do a law degree or do a degree or go to college, and they were killed. And what happens a lot of time in those situations would be, even though that someone is at the top of the class in that community, and they're sitting at the highest level, they are of the view that that person who is leaving and is going to get a degree would automatically have more value than they do. Not more money right away especially, but more value. And so they simply can't let that happen, because what they're saying is, you're not better than I am, so stay here with me. Now, that mentality has a lot to do with emotional intelligence and intelligence on the whole. And what happens is that women are attracted to bad boys. Women are attracted to men who are not going to be able to validate them. And what they happen to confuse the attraction with is a guy who is being an alpha male and is on his purpose, with a guy who is not able to emotionally meet them anywhere. And so a woman is not able to tell the difference, simply because what is happening is that her emotions is being engaged, and that supersedes everything else that she's able to normally see, because women are by far able to see in greater detail than men are. They can sit down in a meeting and see body language, eye contact, heartbeat. They can look at a number of factors and look at the energy of an individual, and a man is more likely to focus on the content of what is being said within that meeting. So we see both parties, both strengths and weaknesses on both ends. Now that's a whole nother conversation that we're going to have there. But I wanted to make that link of what women are quite capable of doing. But in a scenario of dating a guy who can be a bad boy, who is not able to meet them somewhere, because her emotions are engaged, it raises her oxytocin levels and it raises her estrogen levels. And in some cases, based on what she's doing, it raises her testosterone. And what happens, a sexual attraction and what they may perceive as chemistry starts to build within that relationship. And so you find women are putting themselves with these guys based on a swag and a vibe and an energy of compliance versus investment. And she's seeking his investment and he seeks her compliance, and he's not able to validate her. So he's not able to give her investment, and she sees that, strangely as it may sound, as something that is subconsciously going to turn her on and polarize her to him more. Now what happens a step further is that she tends to have sex with him, and again, because intelligence is not being used and because her emotion supersedes everything, she allows this man to impregnate her, and he's not able to be a father, be a leader, or to be able to emotionally meet her where she needs him to be. And so what happens is, when a child is born, he is not able to commit, obviously, because he never could in the first place, but she didn't see that. And so she starts to react emotionally because she doesn't look the same. She has gained weight. She's more emotional now. She's not able to meet his needs anymore. And a lot of times what happens, this guy now has to turn his attention to someone else, because what he needs is dopamine for himself because he needs someone to be by his side that is going to be able to validate him as well. She can't do that now anymore. So what he sees is a woman now who is nagging him because she's so polarized to him and emotional to him. She's acting super emotional, and now this guy leaves. He just disappears, and he doesn't want to have anything to do with that child. And even if he is interested in doing something or having something with that child, he is not able to be a father to that child because he doesn't know how. It was never available, and even if he's in that child's life, the very best you may get in most cases would be a replication or replica of what he is, because that's all the child is going to see and aspire to be. So the child may even be better at dealing in drugs or being a deadbeat or whatever than the man is able to, simply because he doesn't see that he can be more than that he is within that community or within that container. He thinks that the world is just that big. And so he doesn't know what he doesn't know. He doesn't know that. And so it hurts him. And there's a phrase I always like: you don't know what you don't know. And people say that the truth hurts, but what you don't know doesn't hurt you. But that's not true. What you don't know can not only hurt you, it can really also kill you. And that goes for both men and women, because a women don't have the knowledge to understand the context of what draws them to that type of guy. And it goes back to value system, because some of these guys also will have fathers, would also have daughters, and what the daughter will also see again would be what their father is. And most times, women, if their father loves them, women tend to seek a man that is able to meet what the father is. And so in situations like this, what I should have said as well is that the father tends to cling to the daughter over the son in situations like what I'm referred to. And so based on that, and the daughter perceives his presence and validation as love, which is not, she tends to want to find someone that is like her father subconsciously in the future. And this starts a cycle that happens continuously over and over and over within these communities. And until we can understand the gender intelligence, and we could understand overall intelligence and see what is actually the foundation of what is happening in our communities, we are not going to be able to stop it. It's just going to continue to happen. And when you look at who is committing suicide, women attempts to commit more suicide than men, but men commits 4 times as much suicide as women. Men are more likely to be incarcerated because, as I said, men are almost all disagreeable people. Most disagreeable people, or the most disagreeable people, are always males, and the most agreeable people are always females. And so men would always tend to be more incarcerated. And when you look at the crimes that have been committed, you will see that the crimes are committed more by men. Most of the gruesome crimes are committed more by men, because men, because of their testosterone levels, they are not able to think about their reaction to what is actually happening. Something can trigger them and they react, because men are built to react and solve problems. Women, on the other hand, are built to be able to focus and to evaluate before they make a decision. And so if you look at it, as I said before, with suicide, women would threaten because of emotions to do more suicides, but they would never really go through it. So if they are attempting to do it, they would not go all out and do it. But a man will quickly just take a gun and put it to his head and kill himself. I, for one, have never seen a video or heard of a story where a woman took a gun and put it to her head and kill herself. And if it does happen, or it has happened, understand that it has happened way much less than it would with men. And these are the concepts, these are the things that are happening in our communities that is causing men to not be able to stand with women because they could not in the first place. And women are giving themselves to men because they don't know the value of who they are either. And so, because women don't know, because some of these men are their fathers, and because men are not able and fit to be able to be with some of these women, it's just a spiral, and it's going to go down with no good end. It's just going to continue to spiral as it has. And so, men's health, mental health, is basically mainly because men don't understand their purpose, and men don't know what they are supposed to be and supposed to be doing, who they really are, and how they are supposed to live in society. This society is designed to castrate and to stop men, kill men. It's in the food, it's in upbringing, it's in women going to work and men being and feeling displaced. It's in relationships on a daily basis. It's in the water. It's in the air. Men being removed from who they are supposed to be is everywhere. Men are being attacked everywhere. And when men come home, they are being attacked by their wives again. And so you find many men not wanting to come home. They would rather stay out lying with guys, be in the bars. Just look around, go to the clubs and bars and see which is sex that is mostly there. And this is what is happening. There is no polarization or polarity between relationships with both sexes anymore. And so now men has now come to a point now where they are not willing to settle with and love women because of the actions of women as well. This is another aspect of what is actually happening. Men are now thinking that women are valued much less than they are because of the behavior of women. And so men's intention is to just plant seeds and leave women. And they are not loving women anymore because of what has happened in the past. Men are now retaliating. That's another aspect of why men are not staying with women. And you see this mostly when a child is born and the man says he wants nothing to do with that child. His intention was always never to stay. Doesn't care for either party. He got a child and he knows the child is alive. Take care of that child how you want. So, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what your views are based on all that I've said. I said a whole lot, and I try to create linkages to what is happening in society now and why men are reacting to how they are. And it has to do with how they perceive themselves and their status and their mindset overall. So let me know what you think about this video. Like, comment, and remember, I'm doing a lot of research. All I ask is that you share this information so that people can see it and I can get to see what their comments are and get some kind of feedback to understand the thinking that is out there and give you more information as I continue to do my research on a daily basis. Okay, so like, comment, and subscribe. Really and truly, I appreciate your support, and let me know what you think about this video, and you hear more from me soon. Okay, bye for now.